All right, I wanted to share something I've been working on here. With AI getting more powerful every day and ability to create apps, things like that really quickly. I wanted to show you something I spun up really quickly that's been helping me with tuning, and I'm going to keep on working on it, making it better to help me. So the first part here is the tune analyzer. You load your data log, you load your XDF file, you load your bin file, you hit run analysis. And what I have now is you can do a fuel scalar table analysis. So basically map your data log to your fuel scalar tables to help with fuel trim tuning. So this basically takes short-term fuel trims, long-term fuel trims, maps it onto the table and shows you the delta and the suggested new values. The goal here is to get to, basically no fuel as close to as best fuel trims as possible. You can do it for both fuel scalar tables. All three fuel scalar tables. Right now, it's kind of up to you to know which one that your interpolation is on. I'm running about E50, so I'm right about my FF fuel scalar tables. So these are the current values in that table. Again, it looks up the short-term fuel trim and long-term fuel trim, averages them. Here's the delta. This was basically a draggy quarter mile log, and it was at elevation. I usually tune. I live at sea level. I tuned this car at sea level. I was in the mountains yesterday, about 1,500 feet. So there's some tweaks here to be made for that. Same thing with base wastegate duty cycle, which I'll get to in a second. Anyway, this is suggested delta, how many samples it took to create that average when you roll over it. And then suggest the new values to add. So right now it's 6,500 RPM at 200 load. It's telling me to put 105 in here to get closer to 0 fuel trims. Current value there is 1.13. So that's super helpful. Second one I have is wastegate duty cycle base analysis. This is for the MHD wastegate duty cycle base table. And again, I was at elevation, so PID was working overtime here to meet target boost. So you'll see some pretty big suggested changes here. And again, at the end of the day, the human is doing the tune here. So you have to basically, use judgment to make changes here. Obviously, if I do what's suggested here now, I live at sea level, it'll probably overboost and PID will work overtime to bring it down to boost target. So I probably won't take these suggestions based on where the log was done, but you get the sentiment here. So again, suggested delta, again, like I said, you'll see some pretty big swings here. It's showing the sample size. It's also showing the average P factor, D factor, and I factor that was helping contribute, and showing how it worked to do that. But it's basically taking the average between base and wastegate duty cycle 1 and showing you how much to add to the base table to get to target with less PID intervention. And again, suggested new values, and you can select these and copy paste them into MHD. Other one is P factor that I have going on here. Here's current values. Here's the suggested delta. Here's the suggested new values. So pretty great, because usually I look at a data log on one side of the screen, I look at my MHD tables on the other side of the screen, and I kind of have to find the cell, make a tweak here. Here it's visualized on the table, so it's super helpful. Other thing I spun up really quickly is just a data log viewer. There's a bazillion data log visualization tools out there, whatever, but I wanted it in the same app so I can go in between. And same thing here, showing kind of peak numbers, a little bit about the actual bin itself, because I actually loaded XDF and bin in here as well. And there's a reason for that. So right now I have the main timing table FF, since I'm on E50. And as you go over the log, it traces it. A lot of tools do this. I know WinElse and all that stuff. But again, this is within this app. It's pretty handy to see as you scroll across. I also had it color code gears. So again, like I said, this is a draggy quarter mile pool. So it's basically second gear, third gear, fourth gear, fifth gear, and it's color coded. I have the key up here, but it's kind of fun to see at a glance, like the gears. You can quickly see it. You can also zoom into a small section by just dragging, super zoomed in. You can zoom back out. I can zoom in like data zap. Um, and again, drag across. Here's timing. I can also add more based on Datalog elements. So let's say I want to have Vanos in there as well. So now Vanos is in there. AFR, load requested, load actual. Again, I can add whatever I want in here. And also search, so find torque actually. That's mapped as well. So yeah, so I'm going to continue to work on this. This is helpful for me. I'm basically just doing it for myself. I think if it's going to be helpful for other tuners, I'm happy to put it online and have people use it for themselves. But let me know. Let me know if this would be helpful. I think this tune analyzer is actually really helpful, especially for fuel scalar tweaking, for ethanol blends and things like that. Been super helpful for me so far. Thanks.